Hello, welcome to another Needs Portal tutorial. The purpose of this video is to complete assessments for individual family members who have been enrolled in a program. This video is specifically for caseworkers. In order to complete assessments for families, we will go to Program Terms, and then we will select the program term for the family we are interested in completing assessments for. If we scroll down under participants, we can see each of our participants listed below. Assessments are located on the far right. For assessments that have not yet been completed, there is a red exclamation point that indicates that those still need to be completed. So let's go through our assessment, starting with parents. So the first assessment is the UNCOPE. So to complete the UNCOPE, we will select UNCOPE, and then we'll click Add UNCOPE. You'll indicate the date that the UNCOPE was completed. For score, you don't need to write anything. As you click yeses or nos, the score will tally itself. You will go through each question, selecting if it is true or not. Once you've selected two that are true, you will get a message noting that the individual has a score of 2 and that a referral is needed for further assessment. Once you've selected 3 yeses, you'll get a note indicating that the client has a score of 3 or more and they are eligible for Ohio Start. You'll then complete the rest of the assessment. And once you have answered all of the questions, you'll scroll down and select Save. If we look at the UNCOPE for the father that we just completed, we will see that the red exclamation point has been removed and has now been replaced with a green 4. This lets us know that that assessment has been completed and the individual received a score of 4 on the UNCOPE. Next, let's take a look at the ACE questionnaire. So we'll select ACE questionnaire, add ACE questionnaire. You'll include the date it was administered. And again, you will select yes or no for each of these ones. The ACE questionnaire looks at childhood trauma for the parents specifically, and it'll give us a score depending on the severity and amount of trauma that the family member experienced. Once you've selected all yes or no questions, you can see it provides us a score at the top. And we can select Save. And again, that exclamation point has now been replaced with a green 6, letting us know it has been completed. Our next assessment is VOCA Direct Services. So we will select VOCA Direct Services and add VOCA Direct Services. So the purpose of VOCA Direct Services is to capture all of the services that caseworkers provide that might not be captured in other areas of the Needs Portal. The different parts of VOCA Direct Services are information, personal advocacy accompaniment, emotional support or safety services, shelter housing services, and criminal civil justice system assistance. As you can see, this is a very long list of different options. And so we recommend making a note of the services you might provide more often so they are quicker for you to identify in the future. VOCA Direct Services is required at the beginning and end of the case only. So we only need 2 time points specifically. However, you are welcome to update this at any time. This will just be a running tally of how often these services are provided. So if we scroll down, if, for example, you provided transportation assistance, you will hit the up arrow. That lets us know that those services were provided. And as you can see, when all of these are 0, not applicable is selected. However, once you add 1, it automatically unselects itself. So you do not need to worry about that. Additionally, we know that families will be receiving individual counseling at least once a month. So this tally should equal 1 for every month that the case is open at least. And so once all of these have been completed, you will select Save. And so since we know that the VOCA Direct Services needs to be completed at least the beginning and end of the case, say if you were going in to update it, you would just click on VOCA Direct Services again, and you can scroll down and just add to the tally of whichever are applicable. So say you decided to update this the next month and you provided transportation again. So you would tally that up 1 more. And say you provided counseling again. So you would tally that up 1 more. And then you would go and select Save. And so we can see that VOCA Direct Services has been completed because that red exclamation point has been removed. So next, let's take a look at types of victimization. So we'll click Add Types of Victimization. You'll select the date administered. And you're going to check all boxes that apply. So we are looking at current types of victimization for the family that they have experienced in their lifetime. So while the ACEs looked at specifically childhood, this looks at to the present. And so you can select multiple. If you select other or hate crime, you will see that these boxes down below become required. So make sure to provide a brief explanation if you select either of those. However, if you remove them, you can see that they are no longer required. You'll also need to complete special classification of individuals. So if you click this, you can see it gives you a number of different options. You're able to select more than one if that is applicable. You can also select NA if none are applicable. And then you will click Save. So again, you can see that that red exclamation point is gone for types of victimization, so that has been completed. Since we've already gone through parent assessments, we will skip moms for now, and let's take a look at the child. So the first assessment for the child is the CTAP. And you can see in the needs portal, it gives you the option of completing either 0 to 5 or 6 to 18. This is because there are some children that come in at the age of 5, but might transition to the age of 6 during the case opening. And so this just gives you the option of completing either 0 to 5 or 6 to 18 in those rare cases where the child might turn 6. So you can see, while this child is obviously 2, if we select 6 to 18, it lets us know that this is the wrong age. However, we are still able to complete it. So this allows you to complete it in those cases where the system might show that the child is 5 when in reality they're 6. However, we know this child is 2, and so we will complete ages 0 to 5. So you'll click Add Ages 0 to 5. You'll include the date. Again, the score will tally itself. And you're going to select the different trauma that the child might have experienced in their childhood so far. And so you'll just select yes or no for whatever is applicable. You also have the option below of selecting other behaviors. So this first box says, does the child show any of these behaviors? If you select it, it gives you a number of options. You're able to select one if applicable or more than one as well. So we'll say this child is excessively shy and has difficulty sleeping. So we have added more than one. Next, we'll look at, does the child exhibit any of the following emotions or moods? So maybe this child has a flat affect or is withdrawn. You can select that one. And then finally, we'll look at relational and attachment difficulties. So we can, for example, say none of these were true. We can leave it blank. This is not a required field. And so once this has been completed, you'll select save. And so if you see for the CTAC, the red exclamation point is gone. It has been replaced with the score of 7. And also the exclamation point is removed for 6 to 18. So that one does not need to be completed. Next, let's look at Voca Direct Services. Again, this is exactly the same as the parent Voca Direct Services. So you're just going to tally up if any of these are ever applicable for the child. And again, you'll be capturing at least those 2 time points of the beginning of the case and the end of the case. We'll say at the beginning of the case, none of these services have been provided yet. So we're going to go ahead and click save, since all of these will be left as not applicable. So you can see that exclamation point has been removed for Voca Direct Services. Finally, we'll look at types of victimization. And again, this will look the same as types of victimization for the parent. And so you're just going to select all that are applicable. You can identify any special classifications for the child, which none might be applicable, which is all right. And once you've completed that, you'll select save. So we can see that for the first parent and the child, all assessments have been completed. After you've completed assessments for all of the family members, the next step is making referrals to service providers and mentor referrals, which we will be looking at in a future video. Thank you for joining me for this Needs Portal tutorial on completing assessments for family members enrolled in a program. Please see our YouTube page for future videos, and feel free to email us at needsportal@osu.edu with any questions.